Jennifer Vatsa from Belladonna's Botanicals. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about our products and our product creation. Just because I get a lot of questions, and I think this is one that is a more broader question that, or broader topic that I wanted to talk about. Is that so our products are created for anyone to use, regardless of tradition or skill level. And I say that I create the products so that they can be used by anyone. Like whether you're practicing, whether you're a Norse heathen, whether you are a Luciferian, whether you are, an eclectic witch or a Wiccan or any practice hoodoo or anything in, there's thousands of different practices out there, so that you can use them. They're not custom tailored towards any one particular thing. Now, I have some specific products that are like the different oils that I have for like the dark goddesses or different like Lucifer or something like that. So those would be a little bit more specific, but it's pretty obvious of what they are in that. So that's part of the reason I don't include any specific spells or rituals, because everyone does things differently. If you are a Wiccan, you sure as shit are not going to want a satanic spell for something, or you're not going to be calling upon demons and dark goddesses, maybe, and I tend to do my rituals and spell work very extemporaneously. I very rarely ever write things down, which I should, but I don't. I very rarely ever use, incantations or things from that other people have written. I've read poems. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I like this little bit here, and I'll incorporate that in. But that's why I don't include spells or rituals with the things, because they're meant to be used in any way that you want to. There's no one specific way to use a binding oil or the truth spell oil. You can, take any kind of spell structure and with your intention, create that, use that process. So if you're doing a candle spell and you anoint the candle with a binding oil, well, you're doing a binding spell. So, I would Google or YouTube, various types of binding spells, or if you have one that you use that works for you, great. But you're using that oil in conjunction with whatever that spell is, however you do it, whatever gods, goddesses, demons, angels, ancestors, whatever you call on to do that spell. And it's really the same thing with some of the other ones, because honestly, there's quite a few products I have that I channeled from spirits, or that I just kind of, I maybe other people have them out there. I just, not standard things. Like I think I have like the truth spell oil. Well, okay, for doing it, it's kind of a revealing spell. So again, like for me, I would light a candle. That's what I've done. I've lit a candle, kind of stated my intention. And that one for me, I've always had really good luck with it working really fast. So again, it's kind of like, fill in the blanks of use whatever type of spell or ritual structure you want. The products are meant to kind of go within that structure. So that's why I include a basic, like with all the product descriptions, you're gonna get kind of like this is used for this, and I give a little bit of, like ritual oils can be used to anoint objects, yourself, on candles, petition paper, etc. So there is some basic stuff there on what those products are used for. I just don't include the spell work with it. And for the ritual oils currently, as of November 2022, are $15.99 each. So for $15.99 each, I think if I was including like more advanced like spell work and things, they would probably be a lot more expensive. Not everyone needs that. I don't particularly need that. So and I buy stuff from other uh witchy creators and occult organizations and shops and stuff like that. And some will include instructions with things and others don't. I think I can only think of like maybe two offhand that I've gotten like, really detailed written instructions for. Um, which leads me to the other thing is that I'm not a teacher. I mean, I'm not particularly good at it. I think it's a little bit of my neurodivergent things and stuff, but I've created my ideas, my products, and given you, what they're used for, some hints at how to apply them, and a lot of them I do have video tutorials going a little more in depth into it. And those are also usually in the product descriptions. I probably have a couple more that I can make. I'm trying to think of off the top of my head at this point which ones I would need to elucidate on further, but it's I'm a creator. I'm a product creator. I'm not a teacher, so that's not really my forte. And I have stuff on my YouTube channel. I do this when I can. It's not my primary mode of what I do. And let's not forget, and I say this because I am a veteran of the pre-internet era, that y'all have it easy. There are a fuck ton of free resources out there, YouTube, hi, and search engine of your choice. And there are so many websites that have, spells and rituals and videos and all that stuff. So this information is so much easier to access than it was, 30 years ago, or even 20 some years ago, um like my products aren't created to use in any one particular way. Like even sometimes people have like, when I created the Spellfire blends, I was like, well, this is for like burning sigils and offerings and stuff. Never thought that, until I talked to a couple of colleagues of mine, they use it for fire scrying. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I hadn't thought of that as a way of using it, because I don't do fire scrying, but they're for you to use in any way that you want. Some things have safety precautions for it, like, or like I would not put, don't drink the oil, basically, or whatever, or don't apply flying ointments to mucous membranes, don't or use caution when doing this. Like, if you're using something like hot foot powder or doom powder, just be aware of what's in the ingredients. If you have like small children traipsing around, or pets or wildlife in your yard, and stuff, that because like hot foot has a lot of like caustic, peppery ingredients in it. And, if your cat's going outside and getting hot foot on their paws, that could be kind of, unpleasant for them. So anyways, that's kind of in a nutshell what I wanted to talk a little bit about with our products, and our creation process. I use a lot of, just to kind of go a little further in depth of like how I create things. Some of it, some things are based on like, say, like a come to me oil or hot foot. Those kind of formulations have been around for a very long time, and there's a lot of variations on it. I do my own versions of things. I do my own version of Florida water, or Four Thieves vinegar. There's a lot of different formulations for those type of things. Some of them are more traditional and by the book. Others aren't, or you add your own flair to it. Like I know for me, like with Four Thieves vinegar, I use red wine vinegar as the base because I cannot stand the smell of apple cider vinegar, which is, I think, the more traditional vinegar base that's used with it. I'm like, literally the smell of apple cider vinegar makes me gag, so I would never use it. Some things it's a matter of like, okay, I want to make an oil for this, looking at all the information that I've amassed on the correspondences and properties of different herbs and essential oils and crystals and things, and that is, I kind of go through and look. I'm like, if I wanted to make a binding oil, or love binding oil or something like that. Okay, well, what herbs are good for binding? I have my list, and I could go, okay, what, then from that list I could go, okay, in this oil I'm going to put, this and this. I'm going to use this and this part so it has a scent to it, or to cover up sometimes the stinky things that are, the herb content in it. And that's a lot of times how I create things, based on research. If I'm creating an oil for a specific entity, like I've been doing the custom oils for gods and goddesses, angels and archangels, demons and infernals, and that whatever else in there I forgot. But so for some of that, I do the research of what correspondences are, what's this goetic demon, what are their, herbal correspondences. And a big, hat tip to S. Conley's Wort Cunning for Demonolatry book, because that's been really helpful at starting, getting some of those formulations started. Because I am not familiar with all 72 goetic demons. I don't work with all 72. So, but sometimes it's also, you have to kind of take it a step beyond that and looking at, okay, well, I've got one thing that this demon is associated with. How do I kind of work from there into the formulation, where it's like, okay, well, this is their color correspondence, or here's their gem or mineral correspondence, or they're associated with this particular thing. So if it's a demon that's associated with, like, or whatever, divination or the underworld, I'll pick herbs that are associated with divination and herbs that are associated with the underworld to add to that. So that's kind of a little bit of how I will formulate things. And some I've directly channeled from the entities themselves. Yeah, so it's kind of like, all right, well, I feel like this needs something else, and I'll just get like the little whisper of, put this in it. And so that's another way I create it. Some things are channeled directly. I've been working on a nightly project of, just kind of spirit channeling, and I've got a whole book of random formulations for things. And it's like, so sometimes things come to me that way. Like I've gotten product requests from different entities before, which is a strange thing. Like, I think that's where Belial's Hammer of Justice court case oil came from. That was a request directly from Belial. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that people create things. Yeah, there's no one right or wrong way to do it. But yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about that, because I think, I think there's sometimes it's a mystery as to like how people create things, or why they create them, or how they come about their formulations, and what the purpose of them is. Because I do get questions like, do I have to work with demons to use these? I'm like, no. I mean, unless you're buying an oil for a specific demon, no, you don't. Because they're meant to be used by anyone. So yeah, that's all I think I wanted to say on that subject. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. See you later.